I recently received a comment on one of my YouTube videos that someone, they'd worked with SQL for a while, but they were very new to being a data analyst. So they'd only been recently working as a data analyst, but they had previous SQL experience. And they wanted to know what's the feasibility of going for contracting. If you're new to my channel, my name is Shawful, and in this channel, we talk about all things data. Now, before we begin, if you're a budding analyst or a seasoned pro or someone who just has an interest in data, please do subscribe to my channel and also ring that bell icon so that you stay up to date with all the helpful tips and advice I have to offer. Now, before you go freelancing and you're currently working in a role, ask yourself this question: do you have an expertise? Is there something that you're very, very good at? Because if you are, that's what you could advertise and go freelance or go contracting, because you could show that you're an expert on this, and that's a skill. Again, you have to make sure that what you are an expert in is in demand. But generally you find, the popular tools like SQL, Python, Excel. I mean, Excel probably not so much, but SQL, Python, Power BI, Tableau, Click, there'll be certain tools that there's a huge demand for in the contracting market, but you've got to be a very good expert at those tools. And the reason I say that is because a lot of the time when employers are hiring you, okay, and you want to go freelance, they're looking for someone who can come in and do a job very well with very minimal hand-holding, okay? So in the past, I've hired people, for example, with Python skills or SQL skills to build something for me because my current team either didn't have the capability to do it, or B, didn't have the capacity to do it. Okay, so I brought someone in who could come in and hit the ground running and build these things for me. Now, unless you're in that position, I wouldn't consider being a freelance data analyst. The other thing is, even if you know a lot of tools and you know the mediocre, again, you'll find that in the contracting space, there's this need for clients to get value pretty much from day one. So unless you can deliver value from day one, you'll find that you won't get a good reputation. And what you don't want is your first few projects to be let go because it's just not working out. I mean, I've had that. I've hired quite a few contractors where after a few days, my team are complaining that they need to be handheld. They didn't know, they didn't know more than the team themselves. Like they said they were experts in Python, for example, but the team actually knew more than them. So there's no point trying to bluff it by saying that you're an expert, because in a contracting role, you don't have the luxury of time to learn things and get a feel for things. You pretty much have to start delivering very quickly, because in a contracting role, freelance role, you are paid by the day. So as an employer, I'd be looking for value every day. So that's one of the things I would really caution against, that unless you're a really, really strong expert in something, don't go for freelancing or contracting roles straight away. Stay in your current role and try to be an expert in that. The other time you would go into contracting roles is if you have gained some experience, but this person's asked that they're early in their career. And like I said, unless you're an expert in a tool or a technique or some kind of methodology, like for example, you're very good at building propensity models, in which case marketing teams might find you very useful, or you're very good at building risk models. So I know a lot of contractors who are very good at building risk models, and they work for banks and insurance companies building these models. But that's what they do. They specialize in this. They understand financial data, and they're able to build those risk models. The second thing I would point out is that apart from having the expertise, you've got to also have the confidence to be able to work solo. So when you go as a contractor, yes, you will be part of a team typically, and you've got the camaraderie of a team, but you are still a contractor. You're not part of the full-time team. And if you can't deal with that, then you find that it's very hard to integrate and adapt to the organization, because you'll be moving around various organizations as a contractor, and you've got to adapt very quickly. Whereas as a full-time role, you're part of the team, people integrate you, you get involved in activities. I mean, you'll see a lot of companies, they may, if it falls around Christmas time, they'll have Christmas parties, and they actually have sometimes explicit policies that no contractors are to come to these Christmas parties, because contractors aren't full-time employees, and these Christmas parties or end of year parties are just for paid employees or full-time employees. So you see these sort of things, and unless you can adapt to that, which I think if you're early in your career, it's very difficult to adapt to that, that you will be able to adapt to it. So I would advise against going into a contracting or a freelance role. So in summary, if you're early in your career, okay, let's say you're in your first year, I wouldn't advise you to go into freelance or contracting role unless you've got a really specific expertise. And like I said, the other thing to bear in mind is also that you have to be able to adapt to different organizations and different people very quickly. And if you haven't built that skill set because you haven't worked somewhere long enough, or you haven't worked long enough to know how to work in different organizations and with different people, it will be very tough. And you'll find that, you just won't perform well because you're trying to adapt to environments as well as trying to do your job. Okay, well, thank you for watching my video. I hope you found it useful. Please do share and like the video, and of course please do subscribe to my channel. Please also ring the bell icon so you don't miss any future videos. Thank you.